Okay, this is a very short video, but it's also a pressing issue. And this is something we constantly say on this channel, that today's law enforcement looks awfully similar to terrorism. And Will Babbitt says in one of my comments in one of my last videos, he says, if you go by the dictionary definition of terrorist, it basically describes police to a T. So let's check that out. Let's go to the dictionary definition of the word terrorist. And it says a person who uses unlawful violence and intimidation, especially against civilians, in the pursuit of political aims. But I want to go even further. It says there's a couple definitions here. A person, usually a member of a group, kind of like a member of a gang, an armed uniform gang, a person, usually a member of a group, because that's how they get their courage. Oh, we need to call for backup. We need to send a second unit. This guy right here doesn't have a license plate cover. Usually a member of a group who uses or advocates terrorism, a person who terrorizes or frightens others. Are you frightened when you see the cherries and berries light up behind you when you've done absolutely nothing wrong? You didn't harm anybody. You didn't threaten anybody. You didn't damage somebody's property and not pay for it. It says Wilkinson has defined 4 types of terrorism: criminal, psychic, and that's psychological operations. And yes, law enforcement agencies do participate, just like military does, in psychological operations, war, and political. And we saw from the judge the other day when they said, hey, she said the Kansas two-step, hey, that's unconstitutional, and it's a declaration of war against motorists. So yeah, they are involved in a war. And who's that war against? Oh, that war is against us. You know, the war on drugs, it's not a war on drugs. It's actually a war on people. Drugs don't go to jail. People go to jail. Drugs don't lose their lives. People lose their lives because you dare to have plant matter that the politicians said you shouldn't have, and the law enforcement agencies that work for the politicians, the hired guns, they're the ones who take you down. So yeah, it is a war. One of the aims of terrorism is to provoke the authorities into using illegal or provoking citizens, or people we call citizens, who are just regular average men and women of the earth, into using illegal, unconstitutional, and repressive measures, and thereby to lose public support. Terrorism, the calculated use of violence to create a general climate of fear in a population and thereby to bring about a particular political objective. And what is the objective of the cops? Because we saw when they colluded against and conspired against Chuck Bronson, and when they collude and conspire against other people, like 18 USC 241 says not to do, conspiracy against rights. And when we see them deprive the rights of the people they're supposed to be protecting and serving in violation of 18 USC 242, deprivation of rights under color of law, we see what their objective is. Their objective is to transfer wealth and power, because when they fine you, money comes out of your pocket and goes to the state. You become poorer and they become richer, and the transfer of power. Now you've lost all your unalienable rights that you're not supposed to be losing because nobody gave it to you and nobody can take it away. And yet they constantly try to take away our rights. So a calculated use of violence to create a general climate of fear in the population, thereby to bring about a particular political objective. And just one more. The Department of Defense Dictionary of Military Terms defines terrorism as the calculated use of unlawful violence, and we see them going beyond their laws all the time to get us, or threat of unlawful violence to inculcate fear, intended to coerce or intimidate not just governments, but us, the people. It says, or societies, in the pursuit of goals that are generally political, religious, or ideological. So I totally agree with Will Babbitt. If you go by the dictionary definition of terrorist, it basically describes who. You answer that question. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification icon, give it a thumbs up, share it with everybody you know. Don't forget to subscribe to my email list through my website, highimpactflix.com. That way we can circumvent all this censorship craziness going on. Leave a comment. That circumvents it a little bit, it seems. And I can have a direct access to you through the website, through my email address. and we don't have to depend on a third party to get out all this information. Guys, I appreciate you guys. Don't forget to leave a like. Don't forget to leave a comment. Remember, freedom is dangerous. It's scary. It's a little bit unsettling. It will offend you. But the more dangerous thing, the more scary thing, the more unsettling thing, the more offensive thing is not having freedom. I'll see you in the next video.